Good morning. This is Hammersmith Chess Club, junior hour in 5 minutes or so. This video is the summary of a session we had in May 2020 on one of the British legends, on Henry James Bird. He was among the strongest British chess players in the second half of the 19th century. Indeed, his first international tournament took place in 1851. We heard already a lot about this tournament. He was eliminated though in the first round, and he played into the 20th century. He was not a professional chess player. He wrote books on chess and a book on British railways, amazingly, but he liked chess very much. And in the chess world, he is also known by the opening, Bird's opening, named after him. We see when we go through a database that indeed from the year where does it start? 1856, I know, until 1899, the last game recorded against the world champion Steinitz was recorded. Dozens and dozens of games with the opening move f4. Now, some people also know that Henry Bird won the first Brilliancy Prize ever awarded in chess in 1876 in a tournament in New York. He won it against James Mason, a US-Irish chess player, professional chess player actually. And we will look at that. The game was not an overall brilliant game. It had very nice, very good combinations for which Henry Bird won the prize. If the judges at that time would have had computers, engines, to see whether the combinations were correct or not, well, they possibly might not have awarded the prize to Henry Bird. However, even when Henry Bird was completely down in the evaluation of that game and the position, we see this downward material, then he continued to fight on to create problems for the opponent, and ultimately that helped the opponent, blundered and lost the game. Now, I don't go through all the details of that. We went through a lot of details during the junior hour session. So it's clear White has an attack. That's what Henry Bird very often came to, attack against the king side, which however was quite well defended by Black. Now the last move, a5, was objectively not a right sacrifice, a pawn sacrifice. Black might have taken indeed on d4 with the bishop, take back with a pawn, then the knight would have taken and would have deprived the White's knight of its defense. The White knight would have been lost, and so Black would have remained with an advantage. Black took on a5, and now White continued with the sacrifice of an exchange on a5. That was objectively incorrect. However, that was the fighting spirit which in the 19th century many people had. What White had not seen, not considered, was this intermezzo, this intro move or Zwischenzug, Rook f8, pushing away the White queen, or thinking so. White should have retreated, but White decided to, maybe out of desperation, to save the Rook as an attacking piece and sacrifice the queen, with the charm that indeed Black's knight is pushed back again. But just looking at the material, now Black has a queen for a Rook and knight. The White kingside structure is more demolished than the Black's kingside structure is. There is a passed pawn on the A file, so Black has all the trumps in this position. White still has some attack, brings forward the second knight, and of course there is a Rook which could potentially go to the G file, to the open G file. And the second Rook is also not far away, it's already in the kind of structure of Black. But Black so far defends well. white takes on c6, threatens rook e8, capture, and threatens knight e7 check. So if the rook is taken by e1, then it would make the logic. Black cannot take the rook on a6 because black would lose the rook here, and then comes a check and mate. Either the king goes to f7, then there will be mate on f8, or to h7, there will be mate on h8. So black should have indeed taken the knight on c6 with a knight, and would have slowly materialized the better position. Always when you are in defense, you should take off pieces from the board. However, black decided to go to give an interim check, which allowed white to save the knight from exchange. And of course, it allowed white one more attacking piece here, which is always good, especially when you are down on material, to leave as many of the remaining pieces on the board. Now, black committed a major mistake now. Should have retreated the queen to c8, attacking both the rook on a6 and the pawn on f5. And the pawn on f5 is instrumental for the attack on the king side, because that's the only, let's say, remaining piece of white which could somehow demolish part of the black king side. But black went for the f pawn, f or d pawn, f2 or d4. However, f4 pawn, f2 pawn is defended, d4 pawn is sacrificed, and now comes the pawn push f6. And the second rook is in the game and in the attack, and suddenly now major threats appear, potentially even mate threats on f8, not directly, but well, you can imagine there are threats opening up. White should have now gone with the f6 rook to f7, to the 7th rank, and then block black on the 7th rank, so this rook would not be able to leave, to activate itself. So it would have been quite a dangerous continuation. This rook on f7, this rook on f3, and then a knight. White, however, decided the rook is more valuable on the g file, open g file. However, the g file can be blocked by black's knight. And white can restructure, but it ultimately doesn't help. White has no way indeed to win here, to have a mating attack, unless black commits a mistake. And that's what black did. Black should have pushed the d pawn, and okay, that's something which the time on the video does not allow us. We went through that in detail in the junior hour session. There would have been very interesting continuations leading to a draw. Black made a major blunder, you can say, by removing the knight from g5, from the g file to h7, opening up the g5 for the rook. Not understandable why black did it. Of course, let in all the attacking forces. Now the knight is pinned on h7. And the knight comes in. There is potentially a mate on h7. The queen can't leave that diagonal. So the rook of black defends h7 just in case. But then, of course, now we see there is a potential mate on g8 if this knight can be moved. In order to move it, the king defends f2, and black is just lost. So now the knight can go forward. The knight cannot be taken because of rook g8 mate, and when the queen retreated in order to prevent later rook g8 mate, then white was mating with knight g6. Not immediately, but it would have after winning the queen with the discovered check. And of course, that's a matter of 2-3 moves or 5 moves until black is mated. So this was the first ever awarded Brilliancy Prize in the chess history for Henry Bird, 1876.